Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question comes to us from Russell Graves, KB1UKU. And he asks this question. He says he does a lot of QRP, which means lower power. Now, when he does fox hunting, he goes for the big, highly competitive fox hunts, where the fox hunt is sending out about 12 milliwatts, which would be, in the jargon, QRPP, meaning double low power. Now, his question is, what happens when a Bird 50 ohm load burns out or changes value? Now, Bird is a maker of wattmeters, and they had their heyday back in the 50s and so on. And you put in different inserts for different impedances and for different power levels and so on. And the meters, I understand it, would act as the load briefly, and you could transmit into that and get a very precise power reading. Now, he has a Bird 50 ohm a Bird device and the 50 ohm plug-in load. He says he just purchased another Bird and didn't measure it. I just measured my old military surplus Birds, and all are 50 ohm plus or minus a tad. So I sent my EMA meter back, for it said it was 50 ohm load, but it measured 83 ohms. Well, that's interesting. Never heard of such a thing. Here's what can happen. First of all, you can get lots of different load impedances for the Bird watt meters. 50 ohms is normal in ham radio. Also, we do 450 ohm for window line. The actually quite rare ladder line is 600 ohms, 300 ohms for twin lead. You can get 72 ohm coax, such as the RG6 that is used for cable television. And by the way, if you want to put in an inexpensive antenna, make a dipole, feed it with RG6 from Home Depot, and you will find that it's much, much less expensive cable, and it matches a dipole pretty well. You will need a tuner with it. So how can a resistor increase in value? The answer is if it gets too hot. Part of it can burn away. And usually the way a resistor works, you've got a couple connectors to some material, resistive material in between. And if part of that is carved away by like boiling away or something like that, the resistance of the remainder will be higher because that conductive material or semiconductive material was burned away. So this could happen if you have something funny going on with the insert for the Bird watt meter. Now, if you want to burn the thing all the way open, you certainly can. So he's talking here about some chemical changes from carbon or carborundum resistors. But I think that he's using words like positive coefficient, negative coefficient, and so on. It depends. Now, most modern power meters measure SWR is what they're for, but they'll give you the power, but you need an external 50 ohm load. This is my 50 ohm load, and it is designed to withstand about 100 watts indefinitely. It'll make this thing quite warm, and it can go up in power to the full legal limit for some few minutes at a time. The thing is filled with mineral oil. It's a great big resistor in there with lots of fins on it so that you can see what's happening. This is a dummy load. You can get them for different power levels. You can get QRP dummy loads, which are quite small, and use them. But this is what I use for dummy load whenever I'm doing radio measurements and so on. Some of the power meters do have a built-in load. For example, my oscilloscope spectrum analyzer, you can treat these so that they are a 50 ohm input. Now usually I leave it as a high impedance input and then put an extra 50 ohm load resistor on it to see how well it does. But there are people, if you go to your club, some of the really old timers who have bird wattmeters and can tell you all about them. There's also a lot of stuff on the internet. They're very highly thought of. They're considered to be very accurate. And if this one doesn't work, you might try a different core. If that doesn't work, you may have ended up with a piece of equipment that is in need of repair. I wish I had more examples for you. The most recent QST, the November issue, reviewed a wattmeter that can be placed in line with the dummy load, and it had fairly good words to say about it. I don't have an accurate wattmeter, so I sent away for this thing, and we'll see how well it works, because that's one of the things I would like to do when checking radios, is check that the power outputs are what people say they are. So there you have it. That's just a little advice for a big question. Hope it helps. I would talk to some of those old timers around there that can help you find the information that you're looking for. They're very sophisticated lab quality equipment. If you would like to help support this channel, go to dcasler.com/tipjar. That's TIP-JAR. It's a one-time thing that you can do. Or you can go to Patreon. Following this will come some ways to get in touch with me that work. Note that comments to videos is not a reliable way to get to me. There's so many comments. You can write to me. You can send to askdavid@arrl.org, or you can put in a patron comment if you're a Patreon member. Following that, we'll have a list of the Patreons to whom I give enormous thanks for supporting this channel. So, until we next meet, 73.